it's not easy to govern this country. We're a country of so much diversity. We are a country of so many, races, religions, whatever. And even in Selangor is a very good example of a mixture of so many races. And not only that, but people coming from all parts of the country settling in Selangor. And the disparity in wealth is there. I mean, you've got a whole spectrum of people in every sense of the word. So what we must examine first really is the relationship between the leaders, that is, when I talk about leaders, we talk about Menteri Besar and the Exco, Majlis Kerajaan Negeri. And we have to look at as to whether they are working well with the government servants, with the civil service. Because the civil service, politicians come and go, but civil servants stay on, and it's very difficult to get rid of them. So it is extremely important that you've got to win them over. So you have to see whether the present political leadership in Selangor has won over the civil servants at all levels. Because local government is also under the state. And I think that is where I think there are some weaknesses, as evidenced by the problem of the state secretary. The controversy about the new state secretary, accusing him of being a BN Ramo guy when he is supposed to be political, and also various other things like you blame the MAES, or no, not MAES, MAES and JAIS for some of their actions, but they are also part of the state government, and it's obvious that the control, the leadership and control in Selangor has got some weaknesses as far as the government is concerned. And also at the local level, local government level, there are various controversies that impact on ordinary people. In terms of development also, I think things have slowed down in Selangor. In terms of, I don't know whether the figures are real, but I know for certain that the housing developers in Selangor are up in arms. They're not very happy because development orders, approvals are very slow in coming, and everything seems to be postponed. And this is real. I mean, I'm not being racial by any means. I mean, in fact, these are all Chinese developers. They're all up in arms because very slow, and very slow process. And because of that, I think one of the contributing factors to the rise in the prices of houses is because of the slow approvals of housing projects in Selangor, especially. Prudent in what sense? From what I understand from the developers, of course, from the developer side, is every time they say, well, how do you get the land, how much you have to pay for it, how much you paid the party. I mean, that sort of thing is irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. They have already got the land, the state has already given the land. And I think if you keep harping back to the past, looking for faults, looking who to blame, the blame game, that's not the way to govern a government. You've got to move forward. You need progress, you don't regress. You see? So this is one of the factors. Also at the local level, again. Now I understand that the Alam Fora has not been extended their contract. You think the small contractors can do it? Because waste disposal is one of the biggest bugbears. We Malaysians throw so much rubbish all over the place. We don't sort our rubbish. I mean, you got to think outside the box. You got to start getting people to be more responsible towards waste disposal. I mean, we are going to be inundated by rubbish. The amount of rubbish that we throw everywhere. And look at our rivers, it's still very, very polluted. Nearly 100% of all the rivers in Peninsular Malaysia are polluted. And these are government figures, you just check with the TOE. So, like Penang, they started, I think they started a trend that I like very much, which is to try and reduce the amount of plastics that's being thrown around, that's being issued and used and misused and abused and polluting everything in sight. These are the things that I think a government should look into, should focus on. This doesn't seem to be working because I see still everyone carrying plastic bags and polyethylene bags, where they pack their food and all that. And I know because I go around I live in PJ, in Selangor, and I walk every morning 1.5 hours around my area in Section 12 in PJ. I collect so much rubbish, and I can see that the management of rubbish is not being done properly, and people throw rubbish everywhere, and on top of that, the collection also is very slow. Recently, there has been a change, as I said just now, of the contract given to somebody else, but it's still very slow. People are complaining. I'm not complaining. Other people complain to me because we have a residents association in my park in Section 12, and we are very active. We are very, very proactive. And also, just in the last few days, in terms of development, you talk about having more green areas. You talk about more having and looking after the interests of the people. Now I understand that the PKNS field in Kelana Jaya is going to be developed. I mean, you tak buat tak serupa bikin, And I feel very strongly about this thing. These are not political things. These are not political issues. These are developmental issues, environmental issues that I'm talking about. I think as a government, you got to lead, not blame everybody else for all your shortcomings. You got to lead. You must be above all that. You got to show that you are above whatever the mistakes of the past, As I said just now, you got to get the people who implement. You, as a politician, you create policies, okay, and you lead, you drive, you also must come to the ground. You must get implementation done, and you must supervise the implementation. You must make sure that these policies are being implemented, and to do that, you need the buy-in from the government servants. If the government servants at all levels are very cynical about you, and if the government servants have got no confidence in you, you have failed as a government. That is the basic thing. You see, that is what governance is all about. And there are many instances, in the last 3.5 years that a lot of people are unhappy about. It shows that you are not leading, but you are looking to blame somebody else for all the problems. So this is not the way to go. Politically, I think you've done quite well because I think the coalition is more or less intact, although there are signs of sometimes of some rift within the EXCO, and certain EXCO members are doing things without the knowledge of the MD. I mean, the MD himself admitted that. So that is also not very good. That means to say, the EXCO is not all together. They're not playing as a team, and that is crucial as well. When you talk about political leadership, you must play as a team. You can't be playing politics at the highest level, backstabbing each other. You can't do that. But other than that, I think the Pakatan Rakyat government has done reasonably well. I will give them a pass mark. But I think more needs to be done. Selangor is the most developed state in the country, and you have to lead. Make sure that the momentum of development and all that, and especially also human development, human resource development. This is another area as well. What is the state doing about the youngsters? Now, Najib in the last few days talked about a venture capital capitalist idea, to address the lack of capital amongst the young. I've been promoting this idea for the last 10 years. We must address the problem of lack of capital amongst the young to do business. They've got a lot of good ideas, and especially in the ICT field, solutions, the games, for instance, video games. These are the things of the future, and the government must focus on that. Other than providing infrastructure, roads, services, waste disposal services and all that, sanitary services. These are the other things that the government must focus on. And I think not only, of course, the Selangor government has failed here, but also the federal government and all the other state governments. They are so embroiled in political matters that they forget about the young. You must not make that mistake. You can see for yourself in Singapore how, despite the fantastic development pace in Singapore, but the young have not been looked after well. But I think financially, Selangor is doing okay, mainly because it is a very, very developed state. And as for the chances of BN taking back, the chances are there. But BN lacks proper leadership, a viable, a credible leadership in Selangor, whether it be UMNO, MCA or MIC. God knows. I don't see anybody being anointed as it is. And and that does not go well for the BN, because then there'll be a scramble. There'll be a lot of infighting and a scramble to be the number one in Selangor. As things go now, I think there are a few candidates, but I don't think they are good. They've got good potential to lead a difficult state. Selangor is a difficult state. You can see so many chief ministers or Menteri Besars of the past that has tumbled down badly. And some of them went to jail. One of them went to jail. And the previous one is undergoing a court case. So it is not an easy state to govern. But having said that, we were expecting, and a lot of people were expecting, that the PR government will provide a lot of change, but not much changes have happened. That is the fact. I don't know whether integrity or so-called cleanliness it appears to be clean, but you see at the local level there are still some issues, and as evidenced by the problems of the Wakil Rakyat and his man, or rather his executive secretary, or whatever it is, political secretary and all that. And there are a few other things as well I've been hearing on the grapevine. You see, unfortunately, if a government servant is corrupted, the blame goes to the top. So this is something that the state government must also address. You can be clean at the top, but in the implementation stage, if you don't supervise it properly, if you don't have proper oversight over it, things are bound to happen. Nasty things are bound to happen. So as I said, it's not just you yourself, but it goes right down the line. And that's where the battle is really.
So
no, I'm not saying that correct. Some lah.
Sure.
But you see, as the Malays say, nilas titis, susu sebelanga hancur lah, rosak lah.
Right.
This is what I say. You see, blaming others for your own shortcomings. You are in a position of a leader. You must get the civil servants in Selangor to be convinced about you, about your own credibility, about your own cleanliness, about your own ability to govern. This is the thing that seems to be lacking. Honestly, To be honest, I mean, I know him personally, of course, and I've got great respect for him as a person. He's a good person. There's no doubt about that. A good man, good human being, and a corporate man as well. Although he ran afoul of the federal government because of Catholics, but his leadership must be felt on the ground. And I don't think it is being felt on the ground. This is something that he has to more turun padang, more. He must have a grand plan, and the grand plan must be told to the people in a clear way, so that we can understand where he's coming from and where he's going, where we are going in Selangor. I can consider myself a Selangorian. I've been here for the last 50 years almost. More than 40 years. I'm in Selangor. I'm a naturalized citizen of Selangor, if you like. I'm also a Selangor Dato. And I view with concern, that not much changes on the ground. The roads are still, in PJ for instance, the roads are still under state of disrepair. And as I said just now, some development decisions are made to the detriment of the interests of the people. These are the things that you've got to be very, very careful about. I mean, you have got, some of the EXCO members has got credentials of being environmentalists, of being greenies, so to speak. But what's happening? What difference have they made in the last 3.5 years? Are we cleaner? Are our rivers less polluted? Is the rubbish collection better? I don't think it's better. If anything, it's worse. These are basic things that reach the people, that affect the people. So these are the things that they must concentrate on.